Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Hey, folks, today is Monday, April 28th, 2025, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. I'm here in Houston. Pastor Ralph Douglas West, the Church Without Walls, had his annual golf tournament. And, of course, I'm a member, and I stayed here and played. So we're going to chat with him. We're going to talk to him about Bishop T.D. Jakes' huge announcement over the weekend that he is stepping down as senior pastor and turning it over to his daughter and son-in-law. Also, baseball legend Gary Sheffield is here. I'm going to chat with him about all the drama in the NFL. We're dealing with Shedeur Sanders and people saying that Dion was being too much of a father. I know Gary got to say something about that. Folks, so we're here in Texas, and a black chef in Dallas gets tased and detained after falsely accused of having drugs. Chef Michael Singleton will be joining us to talk about the craziness that happened in the airport. Also, a black man is suing the Spokane, Washington Sheriff's Office for excessive force for falsely being labeled a trespasser at his own apartment. Donald Trump's Department of Justice, we keep telling y'all, shutting down voting rights cases. More to talk about. In North Carolina, St. Augustine University, getting sued for firing a coach for breach of contract. More drama at that North Carolina college. Folks, it's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, a black chef in Dallas, scary scene. Here he is sitting in the airport, minding his own business. Next thing you know, he looks up and he's surrounded by cops. A woman at the airport accused him of saying that he had drugs. And then this happened.
Did somebody take this? I didn't do nothing. My name is Michael Singleton. You have warrant. I got a traffic warrant. My name is Michael Singleton. I want you to please take this. They arrested me for wrong reasons.
No, why would y'all do that? He was standing still.
Oh my God, my name is Michael Singleton. My birthday's 12/21/71. I have back in Singleton. I have no warrant. I have a traffic warrant for $500.
That's fine. You're trying to investigate.
No, you said do I have cocaine? I'm not a drug dealer. Man, I'm a suit dog, man. You fucking trying to kill me. Hey, man, I didn't try to fight you. Why you tased me? I wasn't pulling away. They got me on tape. No, I fucking just right here. You fucking dickhead, bro. They asked me to put my hands behind my back, but I couldn't even fucking move after you fucking electrocuted me. Sit down. You keep telling me to do shit like I can't, you dumb fuck. Come on. Man, fuck you. I just got tased for nothing. Hey, man, somebody please have this on tape. Michael Singleton, back to Michael Singleton.
Folks, we're joined right now by that man, Chef Michael Singleton, also Robert Slater, the founder of the Culture Commission Coalition. Glad to have both of you here. But first of all, Chef Singleton, again, set us up. You're in the airport. You're traveling somewhere. Tell us exactly what happened.
Well, I was going back home because I travel twice a month back to Oakland. When I say home, I live in Frisco, Texas. I go bring my mother her food because I cook for her because she needs no sugar, no salt. So that's why I was going this weekend because I didn't have an event. And I was just approached by as soon as I was in the tunnel going to the plane, I was approached by the plainclothes officers that identified themselves as narcotics detectives. And they asked to speak to me. I said for what? I said for what? They said, can we talk over here? And then they proceeded to walk me over to the middle aisle. I mean, the middle of where pre-board was, where everybody was. And then that's when they proceeded to ask me the question. About, everybody seen it, about do I, basically assuming that I have drugs on me. Well, saying we're under assumption that you're possessing of narcotics and cocaine.
Okay, so how did they arrive? So, Michael, how did they arrive at that assumption?
I don't know. That's what we're going to find out. Somebody said something that I had something on me. I think some white substance or something like that. And then it was a lady on video. She recanted it and said, I never said cocaine or something. So basically, somebody told them something that I had drugs on me or something, and they went into action.
Robert, what I'm trying to understand is again, cops walk up, they don't see anything. Like, what's the probable cause did they have to search Michael?
Mr. Martin, that's what we're trying to find out right now. I have sent a demand letter to the new chief of police of Dallas. No response. We have sent a letter and a complaint to the city. No response. The clock is ticking. There's a lot of answers. There's a lot of questions that are unanswered. Right now, there's nothing to justify why we have narcotic detectives inside the security checkpoint misidentifying an individual when they should be properly identifying real threats to protect our friendly skies. So DPD needs to start answering some of these questions, and that's what we demand.
Now, DFW, this took place at DFW Airport, correct?
Love Field.
Love Field, gotcha. Okay, so that's why I asked, because if it was at DFW, but Fort Worth and Dallas have oversight over that airport. So, Michael, when they approach you, how did it escalate to the point where you get tased?
Well, like everybody's seen the tape. I just basically said that he asked me, can I search you? I said no, and just basically just went into action I didn't even know why I was being arrested. When I said I have nothing else to talk about, and I didn't know why, and then that's when they went into action.
This is, obviously, absolutely a strange case here. Have you hired legal counsel?
So, Roland, that's what the Kojak Commission Coalition is. We're an advocacy agency that encompasses in-house legal as well as medical, trauma support, PR, so on and so forth. So we're a one-stop shop. We have an expert legal team that is investigating and looking into the matter and to advise what steps are next. But going past any civil matters, our number one goal is to see what is the systemic breakdown so this can stop happening. Enough is enough. And Dallas should be tired of these shoot first, ask questions later situations. But our ultimate goal is to be solution driven. And it's great that Mr. Singleton, that is his goal as well. So we will not stop until we look at their training practices and their policies, and that they have a public accountability on his behalf, because Mr. Singleton has not gotten an apology. He has not gotten a reason. And I'll further say that we found out just as recently as 2 hours ago, as they are ignoring our demand for the police report, they turned around and leaked the police report to some media to show one-sided bias. If they keep playing them games, then we will reciprocate in the same matter legally, and also demonstrate and we'll call for everybody jobs that sit in an official capacity for Dallas.
All right, then. Well, certainly keep us abreast of developments with this case, because it absolutely is quite strange. Chef Michael, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And also, thank you so very much, Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, surely appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. I'm going to bring in my panel right now. Joining us, Dr. Omi Kongo, being a senior professorial lecturer, School of International Service, American University, author of Lies About Black People, How to Combat Racist Stereotypes and Why It Matters. Joining us from D.C., Kelly Bethea, Communications Strategist from D.C., Derek Jackson, Georgia State Representative out of Atlanta. Omi Kongo, I'm going to start with you. I mean, listen, if I'm him, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm boarding a flight. Why in the hell are you coming up on me? And asking me these questions, and if you're the cops, you need to have probable cause to accuse somebody of having drugs.
Yeah, and, it traumatized not only him, but everybody in that airport. I also was flying in on Southwest Airlines over the weekend, and there's nothing that could have prevented that from or any one of us in these spaces. How does just somebody talking about someone having drugs lead to that? I remember my mother was in a train station once, her PhD from Harvard, and all of that didn't matter. The woman said that she tried to sell her drugs. Cops just went on her assessment and just arrested her. And my father had to go get her out of jail over some nonsense. And at what point do the people who make these accusations have to be held accountable? Because whoever said it, this person's on video, right? And the people who are watching this, if I'm watching that from a distance, I don't know if this brother got shot. I don't know what's going on. And so the fact of the matter is that they can do this. And on top of that, as the brother was saying, just play games with the investigation, not give out any of the police report, probably leaking stuff to Fox and News Nation and the like. I hope this brother gets paid for everything that he feels like he needs to get and more. But what if something happened to him? What if he had a heart condition? Who's taking care of his mother? He's flying home to take care of her, and people don't even look at the larger community implications of something like this. I'm very thankful that he's okay, but and also I'm just thinking about all these other people there, just kind of bystanders, just kind of watching. Oh well, I got to go get on my flight. I wish there's a little bit more outrage from the people in the line and the like, but people get too comfortable when these things are happening. And then he's telling him to calm down. Who the hell is going to calm down after just being electrocuted? This is ridiculous, and I have once asked, not surprised, haven't seen this covered anywhere else today, Roland.
Look, here's the thing for me, Kelly. If I am this chef and I'm boarding a flight, I fly all the time. I've got 2 million plus miles, almost 3 million miles. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm getting on a flight, minding my own business, typically I got my earbuds in, all of a sudden the cops stop me and accuse me of carrying drugs, I'm gonna be pretty damn pissed off.
And as well you should, because you were minding your business. Like you said, you set the scene. You got your headphones in, you trying to get on your flight, minding your business, and out of nowhere you have cops showing up accusing you of something that, one, you haven't been doing, you're not even aware of it, but also you have no idea where this came from whatsoever. And it's just unfortunate that the only time you see something like this is when it happens to people of color. Like, I would be absolutely shocked if I saw that kind of behavior towards a person of a lighter hue. It simply just does not happen. Certainly not at the rate that it does for people who look like me and you. To echo Dr. Makongo's sentiments, I am very glad that this man is frankly alive, because like he said, we don't know the health conditions of this man. We don't know what he was going through. I certainly would be racking up some therapy bills at this point, because lawsuits should be pending. Because this kind of behavior towards people who are supposed to be protecting and serving, when you were doing neither of those things, this is absolutely ridiculous. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. It goes without saying that. But the safety of everybody in that airport, frankly, was in jeopardy because of weaponized incompetence, as far as I'm concerned.
I'll tell you right, Derek, I can't wait to see the officers' body cam footage.
You're exactly right, Roland. But not only the two officers, but the two bystanders, they were citizens. You can see that they were citizens. So why is it that the two officers are allowing for two citizens to also place their hand on another citizen? Again, I certainly agree that this is a travesty. And just doing this a little bit of research, Roland, over 1,081 citizens have died from being tased. 1,081 citizens have died from being tased. So this is another demonstration that law enforcement have a lack of substantial reasons to use excessive force. And this is another reason why the community trust in law enforcement continues to be eroded. This is another reason why we have to address these kind of implications, because when you think about the lack of accountability and the lack of training and the lack of the protocols that are in place. He was already at the boarding gate, Roland. So that means he already went through TSA and several checkpoints where there's dogs, where there's x-rays, where they've already examined. And so if a citizen's at that point of boarding a flight, they've already went through several checkpoints. And so this Michael Singleton could have been any one of us, and he needs to be awarded. But more importantly, these two police officers and these two citizens should be dealt with and held accountable.
Indeed, indeed. All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. We got to go to break. We come back. A black man in Spokane, Washington. Same drama. Mistaken identity. It's amazing how it keeps happening to black people over and over and over. We'll talk about that also. Bishop T.D. Jakes, huge announcement over the weekend, announces that he is stepping down as senior pastor of the Potter's House. We'll show you that announcement and talk about that reality and also what he plans to do next. All of that right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered, the Black Star Network, live here at the Houston National Golf Club for the Reverend Dr. Ralph Douglas West Golf Classic. We'll be right back.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
And this is a special episode that is near and dear to our heart, especially during Earth Month, where we're going to talk about how the environment impacts our everyday life and what you can do to help solve it.
The issue is that the movement has not historically created a connection with us and has had narratives that really speak to our unique lived experiences and the environmental burdens and hazards that we experience. So there's really a narrative shift that needs to happen for the mainstream climate and environmental movement to really position itself as one that is for all of us.
Only on The Other Side of Change on the Black Star Network.
Hey, what's up? It's Sammy Roman.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, let's not go to Spokane, Washington. Joshua Clark, a 35-year-old black man, has filed a federal lawsuit against the police department there, against the sheriff's department in Spokane, after he was violently arrested and hogtied outside of his own apartment in 2023. Folks, a clear case of mistaken identity. Deputy Samuel Turner was responding to a trespassing complaint, and he thought that Clark was the man in question. The lawsuit made way for Deputy Samuel's 15-minute body cam video release. We're only going to show you about 3 minutes of the encounter. It turned violent extremely quick. Folks, the video is very disturbing. Now, here's the deal. Clark was hit with 3 felony charges, including assaulting an officer. Charges were dropped 5 months later when it became clear that he was innocent, and the real suspect was somebody else. Clark's attorney said the case is about more than one man. They say it is a pattern of aggressive, discriminatory policing for the Spokane County Sheriff's Office and leaves black folks traumatized and fearful of their lives even when they're minding their own business. And again, quite traumatic video. We're going to play it right now.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
Your name Willie?
No.
No? There's a Willie that's associated with this vehicle that's trespassed from here. I ran your plate.
This vehicle.
Show that you're not supposed to be here.
Not this vehicle.
Okay. You got your ID with you?
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a look, see you at that.
No. There's no reason for it.
I just told you the reason.
And I have told you I am not this person you're looking for.
How am I going to verify that without seeing your ID?
Well, you'd have had to ask any of the staff members here if I've been trespassed.
I'm asking you.
And I just gave you the answer. No, I have not been trespassed.
Who are you?
My name is Josh.
Josh what?
No.
Okay, hop out of the car for me,
No.
Mr. Josh. Adam 51 code 6.
Get out of the car. You're arrested.
Stop fighting. I'm not fighting. Give me your hand behind your back now. Now. Give me your hand. You wrap my neck up, motherfucker. You're getting your hand.
I haven't done anything. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Give me your other hand now.
Ah! Ah! Get off.
Stay down.
I'm trying to tell you where it is, goddamn.
Fucking stay still. Stop fighting.
I'm not trying to fight. This is uncomfortable as hell, please. Let me just readjust my body so I can be more comfortable, officer.
Now sit on your butt.
Officer.
Sit still. Hi. He didn't want to be arrested is all.
For what?
So,
He lives here.
What's the issue? I'm conducting an investigation.
Yes, sir.
All right, and he decided he wanted to fight with me, so.
Fight?
You got
I
questions,
haven't
I'll
done
come talk to you in the
anything.
office here in a minute.
Okay, he does live here, though.
Okay.
I haven't fought anybody. I was trying to ask you a question, officer. Damn.
You got 1 to 10.
No, I want your name, I want your supervisor, and I want your
You're under arrest for assault 3rd degree as well. Stand up on your feet.
What? Hey!
Come over here.
No. No. I have the right to ask for all of it.
Separate your feet. Separate your feet, pal. Dude, stop banging your head
You're
around.
all banging my head, you dumb son of a bitch. Get me a... Stop fighting me, dude. Get me an actual cop.
I'm still
I
code
want
6.
my supervisor.
Stay down.
I am staying down. I'm trying to look you in the eye.
I'm trying to stand you up and you're still fighting me, fucker.
Fucker, I'm asking you a question, and you're being a dick. I want your supervisor.
You know, Derek, every time we show one of these videos, it is always the same thing with these cops in terms of how they treat folks. They don't de-escalate. And so this is somebody who should never be policing. He should not have a job. And this is what's insane is these cops, they act like thugs as opposed to ascertaining exactly who the proper suspect is.
Roland, I appreciate you highlighting these situations. I mean, it's unfortunate, but you're not going to see this anywhere else. The reason why I appreciate you highlighting this because you got to think about the physical and psychological harm to Black people in the United States. He was just sitting in his vehicle, Roland. And so it will be hard for any one of us, including myself, for a police officer to roll up and start asking questions and get out the car when you're not doing anything. So there's the physical aspect, there's the psychological aspect of harm around this, but then we got to explore the consequences of these wrongful arrests. I mean, in this age of anti-DEI, in this age where we don't have a Department of Justice, and I'm sure we're going to talk about later on during the show, that's chipping away around the civil rights protections that we have in this country. And so these kind of incidents, the frequency, unfortunately, is going to get greater and greater because this body camera evidence clearly shows that this law enforcement individual is violating policy. He's violating protocols because this citizen was doing absolutely nothing to in a matter of 2 minutes to go from sitting in the driver's seat to now you're face down on the ground in excruciating pain.
Listen, Kelly, the point that Derek makes there is true. You've got a Department of Justice. This Trump DOJ, they're going to give that cop a medal. They're going to praise him. They're going to treat him to lunch at the White House. And this is the problem. Donald Trump has no problem supporting thug cops like this here. And so from a citizen standpoint, The only recourse this man's going to have is a federal lawsuit, because he sure as hell is not going to have any charges brought up against this cop under a Trump administration.
And that was actually going to be my point as far as recourse is concerned, because frankly, I'm even concerned about the federal lawsuit route on the civil side, because you got to pray that you get the right judge for it. Because right now it just feels like we're in a free-for-all when it comes to justice, how to get justice, who's going to get it, and who's going to be held accountable for actions like this, because everything is up in the air right now. When you do not have a political and moral backbone to say this is wrong, you, a cop who is supposed to be protecting and serving the public, this is wrong. And there's nobody above you saying that, nobody above you holding you accountable for your actions in a way that gives this man a semblance of justice in this situation. I don't know what his recourse would be. I don't know if he has a semblance of recourse at all, because right now, who's holding the courts accountable? No one's holding DOJ accountable. Certainly no one's holding the president accountable. You know, I am gravely concerned for the uptick in incidents such as this, because we essentially have been given permission to, and by we, I mean just generically, have been given permission to do whatever we want in the worst possible way.
You know, on the Congo, again, I mean, it's like Groundhog Day. I mean, it's over and over and over and over and over when we have to do these stories. And people need to understand that this is our reality of being black in this country. And you know what? I keep saying, whether fiscal conservatives, whether people who say we're wasting billions of dollars on police elements, they're always quiet. You never, ever hear them say a word.
And they're going to keep staying silent. And that's why we have to keep bringing up these stories. The man is in his car. Anybody who pulls up the registration of this man's car is going to see his name, is going to see his face. They didn't even have to have a further conversation. And the way that they just treated him like a piece of trash, just tossed him around. And, you know, and they're saying all of these things on camera to help them with their case. You know, oh, he's fighting me. And he's like, I'm not fighting you. And then they have the nerve to say, oh, can you stop banging your head against our car? Like, seriously? Like, the things that they feel like they can just put out that people are actually going to buy this, who can actually see what's going on. If we don't record these things, nobody's going to catch them. And these conservatives, they want more of this. And the reason why this is worse, kind of going to the other prior point that was made, because in addition to what we're going to be talking about later with the DOJ has also stopped its investigations into white supremacy into the police departments. And all of these neo-Nazis and other groups who are joining the police so that they can get away with things exactly like this. This is torture. This is torture of this man. I would love to see what the actual picture of the person they were actually looking for, if they were actually looking for somebody, looks like, because the way that they did this man was foul. There's more of it. And I personally don't believe this stuff is on the rise. I believe it's just being recorded more. And I just feel like there's going to be more dismissals now, because so many departments, locally, statewide, and nationally, federally, are feeling emboldened by Trump.
All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. We come back. We're going to talk about Department of Justice pulling out of more voting rights cases. Also, Bishop T.D. Jakes announces he is stepping down as senior pastor of the Potter's House. All that we're going to cover right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Of course, your dollars make it possible. Plus, to cover the stories that matter all across the country. If you want to support us via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You'll see it right here. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com. Click the Cash App Pay button to contribute. You can also use a Stripe for credit cards. Also, you can also send your check and money order. Make it out to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037 7-0196. PayPal is R. Martin. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. It's a rare occasion when a course taught in high school becomes a topic of national conversation, let alone a burning controversy. But that's exactly what happened with Advanced Placement African American Studies, courtesy of a certain Southern governor who's taking offense. On our next show, we take you inside the classroom for an up-close look at the course through the eyes of the teachers that teach it, the students that are taking it, and the communities that surround them.
And so many of the kids we saw, the truth. And, it just impacts those kids in such a big way.
A master teacher roundtable on the next Black Table that you do not want to miss, right here on the Black Star Network.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, inflation is on the rise. Interest rates are high. Can you still thrive during these uncertain times? On the next Get Wealthy, you're gonna meet a woman who's done just that, living proof of what you need to do to flourish during these uncertain times.
These are times where you take advantage of what's going on. This is how people get rich or richer.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
I'm Russell L. Honoré, Lieutenant General, United States Army retired, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, we told you Donald Trump's Department of Justice does not give a damn about black people at all, and we are continuing to see what has taken place where they are pulling out of voting rights cases, raising significant alarm. Less than a month after Trump ally Harmeet Dillon took over the Civil Rights Division, all senior career managers in the voting section, including Chief Tammy Hagler, were removed from their roles and reassigned to low-level positions. Attorneys were also ordered to dismiss every active voting rights case without explanation or any meetings. This voting section is responsible for enforcing federal laws that protect against voter discrimination, especially as states pass more restrictive voting measures. The new leadership has shifted the division's focus from protecting marginalized communities to advancing Trump's priorities, which is, of course, lying about voter fraud. This is a thing, Derek, that we kept warning people about. We kept warning them about Project 2025 and what was going to happen. So for the people who sat on their ass and stayed at home, for the people who complained about Vice President Kamala Harris, so guess what happens? They're now going to be focused on voter disenfranchisement, removing polling locations. We're going to see more actions by these conservatives taking place all around the country, and the people who, again, stayed at home, who complain, guess what? This is the result of when you do that.
You're exactly right, Roland. I mean, when you think about how we were sounding the alarm about Project 2025 on your show daily, we were talking about Project 2025, and for some reason or another, 89 million registered voters did not vote. I don't think that the 89 million, if they believed it or not, but we went through all 922 pages, and there was not one page, not one paragraph in there that help Black people. And when you think about the essence of Project 2025, not only were they going after Voting Rights Act of 1965, but they're also coming after the Civil Rights Act. We also talked about how they're going after the Fifth Amendment, due process. They're going after the 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment. They want to disenfranchise Black people in the United States. They want to weaken and remove the protections that we were able to leverage over the last 248 years. So these are the kind of things that we got to continue to sound the alarm. And again, when you think about democracy, I know we typically use the word democracy in a macro sense, but when it comes down to it, if we can't vote in this country, if we don't have due process in this country, if we do not have civil rights in this country, this is the reason why, as a Democrat, I urge all other Democrats, we got to fight this stuff about when they go low, we got to go high. No, there's democracy at stake. Our voting rights are at stake, due process at stake. And when you have a country that just simply pick up citizens, Roland, and put them on a military lift and take them to another country and put them in prison, that's kidnapping. And so, yes, voting rights is an issue, but there's so many other things that they're coming after us. And you're right, we sound the alarm. And unfortunately, 89 million people, registered voters, stayed at home.
Listen, what we are dealing with here, Kelly, is a thug administration, and people need to understand. They don't care about discrimination. They don't care about police brutality at all. They don't care.
I would argue that they care about it a lot. I would argue that they are endorsing it. I would argue that they condone it because, like you said, if you're a thug administration, what is the number one way that you present power? You present it through violence. You present it through force. You present it through suppression. And those are the ways in which these police officers, law enforcement, now the DOJ, and the cronies within are exhibiting their power. So, like my colleague said beforehand, this is absolutely something that was in Project 2025. And as we have been saying on your show since the election, the hashtag "we tried to tell you," that is absolutely relevant in this case. It is going to be relevant for the entirety of this presidency because we are going to see time and time again every lie that has been disbanded, every truth that has been illuminated, all of it is going to come to light. All of it is going to affect us. And we did try to tell you the truth. And you decided not to listen because you would rather have a racist bigot than a competent, intelligent, overqualified Black woman for this very same position.
Congo, again, we just need to understand the reality of what we're facing. We need to understand that as long as that thug is there, that criminally convicted felon in chief, as long as he's there, we're not going to have any federal oversight. This is not going to happen.
And this is also part of Trump setting himself up to have a third term. You know, if he can continue to cripple the voting rights of people, continue to cripple access to voting, and put it in a situation where he's basically going to be the one to declare who is in charge, who can run voting and or not, all he really needs to do is get enough governors to put himself on the ballot, and then it's going to be chaos. And so this voter disenfranchisement, people need to understand that this is not just happening at a small level. This is part of a national campaign. And as a network that, like we are here, who has always taken this man seriously, when he talks about staying in office, if you saw that interview with the Atlantic over the weekend, he said, in my first administration, I had to take care of the country while dealing with all, these people who are out to get me in my administration. Now I can just focus on running the country and the world. Like those were his words. And so at what point are people going to get serious about this man doing everything possible? He wants the voting rolls from the states. What happened to states' rights? To whatever it takes to stay in power. These people believe in a unitary power that's supposed to be vested into the president. And folks better wake up now, get off all this rest and stuff, and really recognize it. Because if you don't get it now, it could actually be too late.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, listen, look, we warned people. We told them this was going to happen. We told them what you can expect to happen. And people didn't believe us. People effed around and they found out. And I'm telling you, there's going to be somebody out there who they're going to come face to face with voter disenfranchisement. And they're going to be mad, they're going to be upset, they're going to be angry, and then it's going to be like, well, you know what? This is what happens, because they don't care. These people do not care about voter discrimination. They are pulled out of case after case after case. This same Department of Justice, when you have the Attorney General who spends more time on Fox News than she does at the Department of Justice, that's what you're actually going to see. And so these things happen all the time. So, hey, we got to do this here. So, so we're going to take a little, we're not going to take a little break. As I told y'all, we're here at the Reverend Dr. Ralph Douglas West golf tournament. And so, our group won first place. So let me do this here. Let me just walk up here and get our award. See, I told y'all how we do things a little bit different. So let me just do that. So I'll be right back. We're going to get our first place award. I'll be right back.
So we would
just want to let y'all know the timing is perfect since I'm live on my show right now. So they all get to see us winning. So, and I ain't seen Paz since we drove off. Paz blessed us. That was it.
All right.
Yeah, I said that. I said it.
He was there.
He was there. He was there in spirit. Y'all taking a picture? Come on. Y'all take a picture.
Okay, come on.
Go ahead.
Y'all ready?
First, man, turn hard. Turn that camera. Now you can fit everybody.
Everybody was in there. 1, 2, and 3. Got it. I sent it to you.
You come to the back for an interview in a minute.
Hey, real quick, one more.
Come on. I gotta go to work.
Right here.
I'm live. Come on, I gotta go to work.
Right here with the cameras we paid for. Right.
Come on now.
Y'all looking at 2 different cameras.
There you go. Come on, baby. You got to snap that. I gotta go to work. Come on, man. Come on.
Here we go, Pat.
I ain't joking. I'm like, okay. Get it from her. All right. Get it from her. What's up? No, seriously, I'm working. Hold on. All right, so I told y'all, hold, let me go ahead and put my earpiece in. See. See, this is how you got a black show right here. So, I had to go ahead and pick up my hardware. So,
36.
Yeah.
Alpha, man, go ahead.
Yeah, I had to pick up. Listen. Everybody can't do what alphas do. I'm just saying. So, Pastor West, let me go ahead and mic him up. Let me mic him up. We are live, Pastor. I'm not lying. So, hold on.
I know you're live.
Oh, we are live. Hold on. Let me turn your microphone on. Let me get you. All right. Testing. All right, here we go.
Come on, Ro.
Let me clip you on. All right, there we go. All right. So, folks, Reverend Dr. Ralph Douglas West, actually, we'll step back so they can actually see you.
Come on, let's do it.
All right, then. So first and foremost, glad to be here. This annual golf tournament.
Right.
And so, good to see you win first place. You hit some great shots. I ain't seen not one of them.
Yeah, my phantom was doing it, I had my able niece, and she was out there representing me today, and she did very, very well.
So did you and Maurice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so y'all did great.
Oh, yeah.
While I was holding things up on the sideline.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's do this here. So yesterday, we're talking a little business. Yesterday, Bishop T.D. Jakes announced he was stepping down as senior pastor. And as somebody who's founder of a church, senior pastor, people really do not he recently suffered a heart attack. People really do not understand the level of pressure when you are having a pastor, 10, 20,000 people, you're getting calls from people all around the country and the world. You understand that as well. It is not easy in these days.
Right.
So just talk about just that how you have to plan for transitions because of that.
Well, first of all, let me say to T.D. Jakes, congratulations. That he gets a chance to pastor a church, successfully grow it, and then to be to mentor so many people in ministry. And I think I got word that his daughter maybe.
He announced his daughter and his son-in-law are going to become senior pastors.
Well, his daughter and son-in-law will succeed him, and so to him, congratulations that he's had a chance to shape their life for the Potter's house. That's number one. Number two, that you're right. Most people that don't do church ministry don't understand the pressure that a person like a T.D. Jakes is under, or anybody who passes 10, 15, 20,000 people. It's beyond just the personal phone calls. It's an institution. And for you to have to care for that many people, you have to build a team around you that really has pastoral care. That's the question that people say, how do you minister to that many people? Well, you minister through that many people through ministering to people to minister to that many people.
I remember when Pastor Wesley, when he announced, this was a couple of years ago, he announced, if I do not take off right now, I'm out of here.
Right.
And folks were stunned, and he said, I am spent. There's nothing more that I can give. And he stepped away from a sabbatical. People, you do that when it comes to the summer, things on those lines.
Right.
People really don't get that a pastor of a church is a 7-day-a-week job.
Yeah.
And you got to know when to step away.
Yeah. Well, let me say, I appreciate you bringing that up. One of the things that in our church, the church without walls, our leadership incorporated that for the last, 20 years maybe, or longer, from June to September, they make me take off. They just, And the reason why they do that is because, you remember, in those days, we were running 5 and 6 services on the weekend, 3 services during the week. So you had 9 services that we were responsible for. So this says, you have to unstring the boat. And so preaching and pastoring, but particularly preaching, is creative work. I mean, you know that from what you do. You're not only a journalist, but journalism takes creativity. How do you shape, frame, and package what you're going to say to different audiences? How do you talk about something political different from the way that you address what's religious or social, that kind of stuff? So the breaking away allows you to recalibrate, to refresh yourself. And what I have done over the years, during my break time, I don't do any preaching. If I'm on sabbatical or if I'm taking the summer break, I don't preach for anybody. I use that as my time to rest first. Typically it takes 2 or 3 weeks, and then to read, and then to plan for my fall. And then in December, I'll take 2 weeks off to plan from January to May. And just to keep yourself fresh. Because if not, the challenge of a person like me who's been preaching for 50 years is that you start resting on your laurels. You just start preaching stuff that you preached last year before. Right. It's the same sermon with different illustrations.
And we've heard that before.
Yeah, quite a bit, So it allows you to stay fresh, but it also allows you to be healthy. When the prophet Elijah is about to, he says, I just want to die. The angel simply says, get some sleep, eat some bread, and drink some water. And sometimes our best spiritual advice is sleep, eat, and drink water.
Last question for you again. A proper succession plan.
Yeah.
Reverend Charles Jenkins, when he left fellowship in Chicago, he was a young pastor. He said, look, I want to do other things. I want to do music. And so he stepped away. Reverend James Meeks identified Charlie Dates early on, do the same thing. When in Concord, in Dallas, E.K. Bailey had health issues, had cancer, stood before the congregation and said, ain't gonna be no deacons fighting. This is who's gonna replace me. Carter was there for quite some time. How critical is it for pastors, small, medium, large, mega churches, to understand you have to have a succession plan? Because in the case of the brother in the Bahamas, who died in a plane crash. I mean, listen, look, life is life, and ministry, you build that thing up. It shouldn't go away when you become an ancestor.
Yeah, that's good. Well, first of all, succession is relatively new to all these churches. That's the first thing. And those people who are in these churches that afford them the opportunity to plan a succession, hats off to them, you know. But I will say that whether it is a small, medium, large, or extra large church, that the pastor ought to be thinking like Moses, where's Elijah? Or rather, where's Joshua? And if, Elijah said, where's Elisha?
That's right.
Or Jesus and his disciples, At least thinking in the direction of people that they could possibly recommend. But then those of us who are privileged to be in churches where the congregation really gives you the freedom to do that, the onus then becomes on the pastor to select the right person. As much as we may want our sons or daughters to succeed us, they only succeed if that is the person that God really has selected for that congregation.
And who can move that church forward.
Absolutely. Move it forward, sustain it, grow it, nurture it, strengthen it. So yeah, succession, I would say, for everybody listening on the broadcast tonight, it would be prayerful about it. Start talking about it early, about possibilities, who these people could. Because what happens if the people that you want to choose feel like they've been called to do something else? So who then would be the persons that you're thinking about that could succeed if they're not, if your a choice is not the right one.
Right.
Sometimes God works through the second best,
That's good. Well, Pass, I appreciate it. I came home for my dad's 78th birthday. And when I was watching YouTube, the service, I said, well, look, the tournament, I can just stick around on Monday.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad I did that. So I'm always glad to be home here at Church Without Walls.
Man, good to have you here. Tell the family I said hello.
I will do. I appreciate it.
Love you, bro.
Appreciate it. Folks, we're going to go to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
On the next A Balanced Life, we're talking about the stress of stress and trigger warnings, looking at those areas in our lives where we often don't turn the page or turn the corner, but giving us the ability to really take a deep dive and look at who we are, the people around us, and the ways in which we're triggered.
A lot of times we are so stressed out because we are trying to control things that are outside of our sphere of control.
That's all next on A Balanced Life on the Black Star Network.
This is Tamala Mann.
And this is David Mann. And you're watching Roland Martin
Unfiltered.
I appreciate it. All right, folks, you heard us just talking about Bishop T.D. Jakes making the announcement that he is stepping down as senior pastor of the Potter's House in Dallas. This is yesterday's announcement.
You all know for years I have been talking about it. It may not work out the way I planned it, but I get on my knees and pray, And I planned my life in decades. How many of you remember me saying that? Not days, but decades. Because major moves take time. It may look like it was suddenly, but you don't know what the background work was. About 6 years ago, I started talking to Pastor Torrey and Pastor Sarah because I did not want all that I had spent my life and your life and our lives building to get old and go with us. This is a generational. And even though she was busy doing Woman Evolve and he was busy pastoring One LA, about 4 years ago, they moved out here just in time for COVID. God has a sense of humor. He throws you in the water and then says, swim. So for the last 4 years, they have been swimming. I talked to the board because I was concerned. I have seen too many men build something and stay so long that they kill what they build. What you gotta understand is it's not so important that you just know when to grab a hold. It's knowing when to let go. Now, there's some other things that I'm assigned to do, both here and outside. But I cannot afford, especially after November, to risk something happening to me and you be sheep without a shepherd. I cannot afford to let all the work of all the saints living and dead to hold this so tight, so long that I wither away. So I'm suggesting to you, I'm recommending to you that you receive Pastor Torrey and Pastor Sarah Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Come on. This is legacy. Not because they're kin, but because they're the kind. They've immersed themselves into the DNA of this church for years. Sat quiet, preached. What you didn't know from November forward, they've been running the church anyway.
Folks, Folks, that was Bishop T.D. Jakes making the announcement yesterday that his son-in-law, Pastor Teray, and his daughter, Sarita, would be taking over as senior pastors. I'm going to go to, I'll start with you, Kelly. This is a significant announcement. We're talking about, this is a worldwide ministry. The Potter's House is not just a Dallas-based ministry. Bishop Jakes moving there more than 30 years ago, coming from West Virginia to setting up shop there in Dallas. National ministry, international ministry, traveling all across the world. Look, he's 67 years old. He has talked about that heart attack that he suffered from the pulpit in November. And that was a huge scare. He said later he didn't even realize that he was suffering a heart attack. And look, almost did not come back from that. And so this really is a significant. It really is important. And I do hope it is a lesson, not just for preachers, but also for business owners and others to understand that when you build something monumental, how does it keep going? That's one of the issues that we've seen in a lot of Black-owned businesses, where they built it up and very rarely sons and daughters take it over. And so all of that work, all of that time, all that energy just simply goes for naught. And that to me is quite unfortunate.
Yes, you are correct in that. But I want to note and really highlight the significance of this from a woman's perspective. In the church, it is rare, incredibly rare, for a woman to take over a church of this magnitude. Like you said, this has been in the Potter's House in general has been in the making for 30 years. And in those 30 years, and before those 30 years, during those 30 years, and certainly after these 30 years, there has been attacks on women leading congregants, not because they're not able, not because they haven't studied themselves approved, but because there is toxic patriarchy within the Christian community, within Christian leadership, and it runs rampant. Doesn't matter what your denomination is, doesn't matter what your race is, it doesn't matter. In the religion itself, there has been, certainly within Western Christianity, an undercurrent of toxic patriarchy, such that women have not been able to lead in the way that they could and should. So for Bishop T.D. Jakes to not only recognize that, but to flip it on its head and trust his daughter, who has more than studied herself approved, who has more than shown herself overqualified for this position, to bestow something so precious and so needed in the Black community, needed in Black church community, to a woman, that speaks volumes. And I don't know if enough people are going to talk about that point, but that is what I took away from this, that he trusted a woman, not just his daughter, not somebody who he has mentored, just somebody who he has mentored, but a woman to lead a church of this magnitude. Like you said, this is a global church, and a woman is going to be the head of it, and that's incredible to me.
I think back on the Congo to the point that Kelly makes there. Billy Graham, Reverend Billy Graham, it leaves the ministry to his son Franklin Graham. But the real preacher in the family is Ann Lutz. The person who really, and if Ann Lutz was a man, oh no doubt she blows Franklin out of the water. Franklin ain't even an actual preacher. Okay, so the real person who truly follows in the footsteps of Billy Graham is his daughter Ann Lutz, but she's a woman. And that's how Franklin Graham was able to take the mantle of his father's ministry.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And when you look at something like that, like the Potter's House, I mean, you're talking about a church that started with a man who, would pick up people to drive them to church, preach to them, and then drive them home. I mean, you want to talk about starting from the bottom and building an international organization. And so on two levels, I see something amazing. Number one, the fact that what you and Kelly are talking about as well, passing this over to a woman to lead this. And like you said, she and her husband have been running it ever since, the heart attack happened. That's powerful. And I think it's also powerful to show that, yes, this is a church that we're talking about. And you talked about businesses, but they're also, I'm thinking about the legacy civil rights organizations as well, and people not seeing the handoff take place. And unfortunately, sometimes things don't happen until somebody dies. There's documents, people are claiming this and that and this and that. He made it all official. He made it public for everybody to see. Doesn't matter what anybody says, this is what's going down. And that's really important. And so I think in addition to other churches, and in addition to businesses, other leadership and legacy organizations also could learn from this example. So in this brief moment that he has put out to the world, it was actually something that was very monumental and could be actually consequential if more of us would follow that example who lead these other churches, organizations, and businesses as well.
Oh, absolutely. And Derek, it is, again, I hope other people learn from it. And you heard Jake say in terms of what's been built up. But he also, in a press release, he talked about things that he wants to do. He really wants to now focus his energy on creating economic opportunities for African Americans and others. He has his organization in good soil. He really wants to be focused on the economic piece. With now that his time will be freed up, no longer being the senior pastor of the Potter's House.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Roland. And I want to just build upon what Dr. Omakamogo and Kelly. When you think about a mega church, it's a mega business. When you think about a congregation of 20,000 people or more, the responsibility goes well beyond just delivering powerful sermons, on a weekly basis. When you think about the role and responsibility that his daughter is about to step in, she's more than capable, not just in preaching and teaching, but talking about making sure that payroll is met. And the thing about this story, Roland, for me, it highlights the most important thing, and that's succession planning. We as Blacks do not do succession planning as much as we should. I can only think about, Coretta Scott King. She was thrusted into, with her role after Dr. King was assassinated. And it demonstrates that, to Kelly's point, that a woman has the capability and the capacity to get things done. We have the Dr. King federal holiday because of Coretta Scott King. And so when you think about T.D. Jakes passing over the reins over to his daughter and his son-in-law, it makes sense. We got to do more succession planning in all aspects of our lives, in the family, as well as politics and the likes. And so I agree that this 67-year-old icon, giant, felt the need to pass over what he has built over 3 decades to his daughter, and then ask the congregation, Roland, and say, I need you all to support this decision because it's the right decision to be had.
And again, folks, so our lower third is wrong. Jakes is not resigning from the church. He is retiring as senior pastor. And so that language is actually, the distinction is really important. All right, got to go to a break. We come back. Bishop William Barber, repairs of the breach, were arrested simply for praying at the U.S. Capitol. We'll show you what took place and hear for what he said afterwards, speaking at the Supreme Court. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Joining our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. It's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. What you can do is, of course, if you want to give the Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. You see it right here. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com, click the Cash App pay button to contribute. Also, if you want to send a check, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Send it to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Of course, you also have PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered, Venmo, RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. It's a rare occasion when a course taught in high school becomes a topic of national conversation, let alone a burning controversy. But that's exactly what happened with Advanced Placement African American Studies, courtesy of a certain Southern governor who's taking offense. On our next show, we take you inside the classroom for an up-close look at the course through the eyes of the teachers that teach it, the students that are taking it, and the communities that surround them.
And so many of the kids we saw, the truth. And it just impacts those kids in such a big way.
A master teacher round table on the next Black Table that you do not want to miss, right here on the Black Star Network.
Now that Roland Martin is willing to give me the blueprint, hey, Cyrus, I need to go to Tyler Perry and get another blueprint because I need some green money. The only way I can do what I'm doing, I need to make some money. So you'll see me working with Roland. Matter of fact, it's the Roland Martin and Cheryl Underwood show. Well, should it be the Cheryl Underwood show and the Roland Martin show? Well, whatever show it's going to be good.
Folks, Moral Mondays came to Washington, D.C. today, Capitol Hill. Bishop William Barber and repairs of the breach. Remember, they did this in North Carolina, really changed that state. They are focused on the budget. The Republicans are looking to gut services all across this country. And so they came to the U.S. Capitol to pray. And guess what? They end up getting arrested. Now, remember, when a conservative came to play a guitar there, lawmakers are walking up to him like it was no big deal and encouraging him. But literally, they actually arrested these religious folk for praying in the U.S. Capitol. Here's what happened today in the Rotunda.
We are here crying to you, O God, because we've heard the cries of your people.
We have also read the budget resolution of this Congress, which calls for $1.5 trillion in cuts to life-saving and life-sustaining programs in order to give a tax break to billionaires.
Deliver us, O Lord,
never
from the deceptive lie that says our nation will be better off if those who have little get less, and those who have too much get more.
Against the conspiracy of cruelty, we plead the power of your mercy.
Walk through the United States Capitol Police.
Somehow.
Right now you're participating in an unlawful demonstration. If you don't cease and desist the activity, you are subject to arrest.
Keep moving, Lord. Keep changing, Lord.
Warnings have been given. If you do not want to be arrested, you must leave the area. Move outside. That area. That way.
Doesn't matter if you're pressed. Outside, sir. This way. Everybody outside the building.
This is very different. This has never happened before. With the press is being cleared out of the rotunda.
Man, let's go. Keep walking. Police zone. Let's go. It's closed now. Let's go.
If you don't keep walking, you'll be arrested. In the rotunda. Right?
Keep walking. Yeah, let's close the door. Keep moving. Keep moving back. Keep moving back.
Is there a reason why you're closing the door?
It's a police line.
It's a police line?
Yeah. What do you think of that?
So this has never happened before. We're here in the Capitol Rotunda, where even the press was told that we have to push out and away.
All right, guys, you guys go down there, please.
Down the stairs.
All right.
This way. Stop pushing.
You can go down there.
Down the stairs, please.
Let's go, folks. Go. Out of the building. Let's go.
They're not allowed in there right now. The press isn't allowed in.
No press is allowed in?
No.
Folks, let's go. Keep moving down the hallway now.
Sir, if you keep doing this, we're going to have to lock you up, okay? You're active demonstration in there. Told you about 10 times already.
But I'm not actively demonstrating.
You're staying here. We've asked you to leave, so you are part of it.
That is absolutely BS. Religious folk praying, they call it an active demonstration, and then you see they don't give a damn about the First Amendment. They kick reporters out of the Capitol Rotunda. Well, before that action took place at the U.S. Capitol, there was a news conference taking place outside of the Supreme Court. A number of people spoke. This is Bishop Barber.
This is not, Moral Monday has never been about just kind of a justice fellowship where we come to feel good. We come to cry. Not just cry out. But if in this country right now, you have people and you're watching them get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, at least the temporal power, that's a time for mourning. That's right. It's a time for us to, the first move in any nonviolent type of protest is, first of all, you got to get your facts so that you're not focusing on personality but policy and the real problems. And second of all, you have to make sure, as we did on Ash Wednesday, that your adversary actually knows what's bothering you. You don't just start doing things. You actually have to have the kind of redemptive hope that you believe if you show the folk the fact, they would change. And you can't be frivolous about that. They may not, but you have to believe in that possibility, because if you give up on humanity, then you're doing the same thing they're doing. Part of what it means to be a nonviolent movement is that if I didn't believe in the possibility of my worst enemy becoming my best friend, I'd stop preaching. I wouldn't put on robes and crosses and stuff. Wouldn't be in the need. Now you say you're naive. No, I said believe it. Because if you don't believe it, then your prophetic moral witness doesn't have power. That's right. Because you're living in a kind of nihilism which will destroy any hope that you have. In the scripture, Ezekiel was told by God, I want you to go to the people and I want you to tell them what's wrong. In fact, he was told to go tell them that injustice had become epidemic because the princes or the power structure and the priest had developed an unholy alliance. Then God said to him, they may not listen to you because they are a stiff-necked group. Don't laugh, listen to me. It's very serious. They may not listen to you, but at least they will know there hath been a prophet among them. Right. And if you do it right, they may not listen to you, but see, there's a valley of dry bones out there. That's exactly it. And the people have become disheartened. And they need an authentic voice to go speak to them. The word of the Lord, the word of truth. And if you can't challenge your adversary with the hope that they change and know that even if they don't, at least they will have no excuse. That's right. That they did not get told what is right. That is a powerful witness. And it's something we have to be serious about. Because if we're going to build a movement just to hate folk, go on and join the haters. Somebody said, where does hope come from? Well, hope comes, Jürgen Moltmann said, hope takes place when people of faith, and that could be faith in different ways, but when people of faith or people see something that's so wrong that they can no longer accept it, and they decide to put their hands and their bodies and their feet to work to change it, he said the moment they make that decision, that's where hope is born. Hope doesn't just fall out the sky. Hope doesn't happen because you walk over one time or send an email one time or a text message one time and all of a sudden they stop voting on the right. Hope begins with you and me deciding not to believe the lies we're being told. Because the most powerful thing you can do is tell the truth in the midst of lies. So when Moral Monday was born, actually today was the anniversary, April 28th, 2013. This is actually, and Mark, Mr. President, when it was born, it had been after January, February, March, April. We had seen a state legislature and a governor after we had put 20,000 people in the street in January and a forward movement agenda, and had even offered to them. They said it didn't matter to us, you Republican or whatever. If you're about justice, we'll work with you. And they said no. And they denied health care, denied Medicaid expansion. They cut money for public education, took North Carolina to last in the country. They went after the LGBTQ community. They went after women. They went after unemployment. And then during Holy Week, before they went home for recess, they wrote a bill in the state Senate that changed 40 laws, was an attempt to change 40 voting laws, to take voting in the backwards direction rather than forward. And the bill was so bad that when they put it in the computer, this is true, they put it in the computer and the computer kicked it out and assigned a number to it. The computer named it Senate Bill 66666. Now, you laugh about it, and I get that, but part of the problem, the reason they even got to write that Bill 666 is because in years prior, when Democrats had the chance in North Carolina to expand voting, they didn't do it. And when Democrats had a chance to block, see, moral movements have to tell truth both ways. Moral movement don't tell truth one way. The sword of the word cuts on both sides. How did they get the power to do that? In 2010, there was a redistricting plan when Section 5 of the Voting Rights was still in place, and it was pre-cleared, even though 4 years later the court said it was racism with surgical precision. Now, if it was racism with surgical precision 4 years later, it was racism with surgical precision 4 years earlier. That's right. But in an attempt to compromise and play games, Democrats allowed it to go through, and then that created this super Tea Party, pre-mega majority that then writes Bill 6. So all of us need to repent. That's exactly right. Right? And so what happened is, Dr. Jackson, is when they wrote that Bill 666, they set it to the side. And this is what they said. They said, now we're going to wait until the Supreme Court makes its decision on the Voting Rights Act. And when the Senate went, and so what we said was, we can't wait. And we may not have the votes to stop them, but just because the Supreme Court of this world makes a wrong decision, it doesn't stop the Supreme Court of God from not standing up for the right decision.
Folks, that's called moral leadership, and of course Bishop William Barber. So it was Bishop Barber who sent me this tweet earlier. I want y'all to check this out here. This Jack Jenkins posted this tweet. Reminder, when right-wing activist Sean Fuldt held an impromptu evening worship service in the Capitol back in 2023, police occasionally walked in to speak with lawmakers participating, but no one was arrested. Isn't that quite interesting? The actions that Bishop Barber is engaged in, Derek, I think is critically important because the budget cuts Republicans are trying to unleash really is about damaging the poor, the disenfranchised, and the needy in this country in order to provide tax cuts to millionaires and billionaires.
Roland, if they go through with this $1.5 trillion tax cut, that's trillion with a T, $1.5 trillion tax cut, it's not only going to devastate a lot of citizens, both our elderly, our retired, and our children, but the disabled as well. It will negatively impact Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. Roland, when you think about this $1.5 trillion tax cut, when you have 73 million citizens that receive a Social Security check every month, they're playing games talking about, well, we made the system believe that this person was dead and they're still alive and well, right? They're playing games with folks who are on fixed and stable incomes. Those who need medicine, where now the pricing of medicine has ballooned again. Take insulin as an example. To go from a cap of $35 to now back to whatever that number may be, $200, $300. And so this tax cut, and again, this is where the Democrats got to sound the alarm. Again, that if it goes through, Roland, not only will it devastate a lot of citizens, but a lot of citizens will die. Will die. That's the gravity of this.
Omakongo? Yep. Omakongo?
Yeah, I'm so glad that we're highlighting, Moral Mondays, because what's happening in this country right now is evil. It's depravity at the highest level. I know we're not talking, a lot about immigration today, but when you see what happened with the woman who was deported, but her son, who's an American citizen, was 4 years old, had stage 4 cancer, exported with her, and you look at the programs that are actually already being cut. Right, that are already being cut or halted, or funding being, halted until they can check to see if it is in line with their ideology. They are killing people, and we should have paid more. Not we here, but as a country, we should have been paying more attention when this started happening with USAID. But the Trump administration is so strategic because they know that they always go after groups and organizations or parts of the world or parts of communities that people don't care about. And not enough people were caring about people dying in Zimbabwe or Sudan or Argentina because of USAID money that got chopped up, but people already started dying already. So they're like, well, successful there. Let's just bring it here. Add it to what are they getting rid of in this country? Meals on Wheels. All of these different programs, one by one by one, as they're also dismantling Social Security. When are people going to wake up? Unfortunately, in this country, too many people wake up until they actually get hit. And by that time, it's going to be too late because you already lost your job. You already lost your home. You already lost your access to low-cost insulin. How are you going to be even in a position to fight back? More people should have been down there with everybody who was there as part of Moral Mondays getting arrested. And if the cops didn't come, it wouldn't even have been a big deal. They weren't making as much, quote unquote, noise as that musician who you showed earlier. People were going about their business, but they want to make these things points. They want, just like that judge they arrested in Milwaukee, they want to make these points that they are in charge. And we're not going to keep stopping. And so much props to Reverend Barber and everybody who was out there, as well as the press who documented this for us.
Kelly?
I feel like I'm grieving the state of our nation and what it was and what it will never be again. I do not know how we come back from this level of depravity, because it really does feel like history is repeating itself as far as what we went through in World War II with Hitler. It's almost the exact same playbook, bar for bar, as well as the trajectory of the events happening at almost the exact same pace as what happened with Hitler pre-World War II. This is frightening to me. This is very frightening. And I appreciate the highlighting of this issue. But as far as next steps for this country, if we are not looking at radical change and radical options regarding getting rid of Trump and his cronies, I dare say it will be worse, and there will be no coming back from it. And it is unfortunate. Once again, I go back to the hashtag we tried to tell you, we really did. And I mean, ironically, I have to pray for this nation, probably not at the rotunda of the Capitol, but certainly elsewhere, in order for anything to change.
Well, absolutely. All right, folks, a couple other stories that we want to get to that jumped out at us, folks. Really sad news out of Memphis, Tennessee. But the historic church, of course, that had so many different meetings and gatherings during the sanitation worker strike, burned to the ground. Significant damage. Clayborn Temple, which had been under renovation, located in downtown Memphis, was the organizing focal point for Dr. King's final campaign in Memphis in '68. Fire officials responded to the early morning alarm to find the church engulfed in flames, located just south of Beale Street. Clayborn Temple was built in 1892 as the Second Presbyterian Church and originally served an all-white congregation. In 1949, an African Methodist Episcopal congregation purchased the building and renamed it Clayborn Temple. Before the fire, the church was undergoing a $25 million restoration project, which was scheduled to be completed next year. And again, just some really sad news, because they were working so hard to restore that church. Now it all begins anew. Also, remember we talked last week, Variety and New York Times were sort of questioning, could Ryan Coogler's movie Sinners make its budget back, which was stupid. When you make $60 million your opening weekend, you're going to do well. Check this out, folks. Second week in a row, they pulled in $45 million, okay? That was only a 6% drop from Easter weekend debut. That is the smallest drop in any genre since Avatar in 2009. It is unheard of for what has been categorized as a horror movie, and it's already grossed $120 million domestically, a $90 million budget. This right here is phenomenal. Derek Omekongo, Kelly, first of all, any one of y'all see the movie?
Twice. Again.
Yep. All right, so say it again, Omekongo. So Kelly said twice. Omekongo, you saw Derek. You haven't seen it?
This weekend.
Yeah, Derek, you like me. Well, you like me. I'm planning on going to see it at the IMAX. Because first of all, we've been busy. I mean, what you mean? What you waiting on, bro? Bro, being busy. I'm just saying, bro, being busy. Also, my wife was in New York all last week with the Lynx, and so we said we're gonna see it together. So she wasn't here. So since you asking questions, Kelly. So, so here's the thing for me that I think is crazy. Variety looks real stupid. The New York Times looks real stupid, questioning somehow. In terms of what's going to do well. I mean, this movie is on its way to $200 million, or even higher. What it also says is that original movies with original concepts can still work. Everything is not about, of course, a superhero movie. And that, to me, I think is important. So it's a lot of people, Omekongo, with egg on their face who were questioning the opening weekend of Sinners.
Yeah, and it was so great that we had Omar Miller on, last week to talk about it. And one of the things that stuck with one of the things that he said was that this movie's not only doing so well, but it's not Black trauma porn. And this could be revolutionary for the industry if they pay attention. Because when you look at the movies that have majority Black cast that start doing numbers like this, it's movie or have an impact like this. It's movies that are not Black trauma porn. Movies like this, Black Panther as well. You know, obviously that's Marvel and everything, and Ryan was involved in that. But the way that this movie is going, it beat out The Accountant as well, part 2, that everybody else was talking about and saying, you know, go see that and everything. And, you know, I think they had like similar budgets and the like. So I just love the fact that Michael and Ryan are just speaking with their art right now. And it's just, I've been so dismayed about what I've been seeing in media as of late. And so to have something like this, it just gives me a lot of hope of what's possible. And I don't even care about like what other folks in Hollywood do. I'm interested in this more stories that are going to come from us because of what this movie is doing. And like I said last week when Miller was here, it's the movie we need right now in this moment.
Kelly?
I mean, I couldn't agree more. This was one of my favorite films to date, really ever. And I am a self-proclaimed scaredy cat. I do not do horror movies. I do not believe in spiking my adrenaline levels any further than they need to be. I'm already a Black woman in this world. I am stressed enough. I don't believe in paying to watch horror films, but something told me to go see this film. And it is one of the most incredible pieces of art that I have seen in a very, very long time. I haven't even been looking at the reviews from Variety and stuff. I saw the headlines and I immediately dismissed it because it was giving hater. You know what I mean? Like it was giving, we want to sabotage the results of this film because we didn't believe in it, we being the mainstream media. And I have just kind of delved into every think piece, every presser clip, every promo clip. I wish I was here when Omar was here because I absolutely love his work as an actor in general, but he really outdid himself in this role. Everybody outdid themselves in this role. Shout out to the actress who played Annie, giving it up for the plus-size woman who was a legitimate love interest, not a trope, not a joke. She was a real multi-dimensioned, layered character that a conventionally attractive Black man was in love with. You don't see that enough. I don't see that enough. And that alone was enough for me to see it not once but twice. I might see it a third time in the different formats that Ryan Coogler outlined that he showed the film in. Again, I can't talk about it enough without giving spoilers, but if you haven't already, go see this film. It's incredible. I love it, and I'm ready to see what else it's going to do as far as numbers and impact in culture.
Derek, there's a lot of Hollywood media people looking real stupid for what they were writing about just a week ago.
Roland, and listen, I have not seen the movie yet, Kelly, but it is on my wife and I to-do list because our schedule has been crazy. But when you think about the narrative, Roland, I just noticed that these same folks didn't do the same thing to Quentin Tarantino movies, right? I mean, it just always, folks always demonstrate that there are two sets of rules in our society. It's the same thing that, you know, they want to beat up on Coach Prime with Shador, but you didn't do that with Archie Manning with Eli, right? And so this falls in that same category. It's the same playbook that they continue to do over and over again. Ryan is a genius. He was a genius when even Marvel didn't give him all the budget that he needed for Black Panther, but it still turned out to be a blockbuster #1 box seller. So we're looking forward to go and see it, Sinners, before this week is out.
All right, folks, that's it for us. A lot we're going to talk about tomorrow. First, we're going to talk about St. Augustine University, another lawsuit against them. Also, we talked about law enforcement. We warned everybody. Donald Trump has released another executive order where he wants to give protection to cops. He ordered the Attorney General to create a legal mechanism to indemnify them. Oh, and all those law firms that cut deals, they're going to be required to represent the cops pro bono. Oh, we're going to break all this down tomorrow on the show. Also, the Philadelphia Eagles went to the White House today, winning the Super Bowl. A bunch of black players and others did not show up. But what's causing a lot of attention is Saquon Barkley, where he told folk he didn't want to hear them complain about him playing golf for Donald Trump. I said a couple of things to him on Twitter and Instagram. I got a lot more to say to his ass tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be a little busy show tomorrow. I'm back in the studio, and y'all know I'm going to be ready to bring the funk. Derek, Kelly, Omekongo, I appreciate y'all being on today's show. Thank you so very much, folks. Thank you so very much. And again, let me thank the Church Without Walls, Brook Hollow Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Ralph Douglas West for holding the golf tournament. And again, for the folk, in case y'all missed it earlier, see, when you got golf skills, this is what happens when you got skills. You win first place. So this ain't the first time I've won first place in a golf tournament. It won't be the last time. So a lot of y'all out there be talking all that smack. Bring your ass. Come on. If y'all want some of this, I'll happily take your rent or your mortgage money or your lunch money if you keep running your mouth. All right, folks, if y'all want to support the work that we do, join our Bring the Funk fan club. Here's the way you can support our show. Give via Cash App. Use the QR code for Stripe. This is it right here. If you're listening, you could also use that for of course, credit cards. Senior checking money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal, again, make checks payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo, RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Of course, get my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Available at bookstores nationwide. Get the audio version that I read on Audible. Also, download the app Fanbase. You can also get that. Download the app Fanbase, Apple Store, Android Play Store. Or when you want to invest, go to startengine.com/Fanbase. For more information, startengine.com/Fanbase. Also, you heard me say it a little bit earlier. Yesterday was my 36th Alphaversary. That's right. 36 years ago, I crossed the burning sands into the only real fraternity. The rest of them are youth groups, including those folks in my control room who belong to those other little groups. So again, shout out to my LBs, John Williams, Freddie Ricks, Paul Stafford, and of course, one of our my LBs, he died. Actually, he died on the 10th anniversary of us crossing. That is Kevin Roberts. He passed away in a plane crash, and so he's in the Omega chapter, but he played with us at Texas A&M University. Shout out to my LBs on our 36th anniversary. The Epsilon line, Pi Omicron chapter, Texas A&M University. So shout out to our Alphaversary. All right, folks, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow from the nation's capital, from the Black Star Network studios. Until then, holla! Black Star Network.
No punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?